You better turn up. You better be there when I shake. Watch me rocking if I can't stop. If I should fall, just go ahead. Go and catch me, baby. Ooh, I live it. That's my true love, true to love. Ooh, I love it. Crank it up, yeah, yeah, yeah. Turn it up on a higher level. Turn it up, we got this.
Break it down like this.
You better grab that tambourine. Bring the bass, we might be wicked. We may be forced to cause a scene. Make some trouble, baby. Ooh, I live it. That's my true love, true to love. Ooh, I love it. Crank it up, yeah, yeah, yeah. Turn it up on a higher level. Turn it up, we got this. We got this. On a higher level. On a higher level. We got
Hello, everyone. Can everyone hear me? I feel like whenever I go away, even if it's just for a few days, it feels like forever because this podcast is such a big part of my life now. But I'm so happy to be back. I did need to, first of all, take a break because I don't know if you remember, but a couple of days ago, I was suffering with a really, really bad cough. So I was literally like muting every 3 seconds and having to cough quietly in the background. And I couldn't get a podcast done properly. So I had to, first of all, just give myself a rest, give my voice a rest, let that cough go. And also focus on the royal books that I'm working on, which is coming. And I'm also working on another publishing project, completely separate, not even royal related at all, that I hope to share with you at some point very, very soon. So I've just been kind of like doing a whole bunch of other things. I also want to apologize because I haven't done a podcast for ages. Finally got the energy to do one today, and I didn't even realize that I had put the podcast on at the same time as Baron. So I do want to apologize for that. That was completely by accident. I just didn't check. But yeah, let's get through some of the updates because I have been away for a while and a few things have happened. More with the other royals, to be honest, because Harry and Meghan had an amazing tour and then just went home and they back in the house. But even just the aftermath of that was amazing. And I can't wait to see what they've got coming up next. But today, there's a lot to celebrate. Oh God, sorry folks, give me one sec. Uh, okay, happy belated birthday to Lily, who is now 3. You know, the British tabloids talk so much about these kids that we hardly ever seen, and we don't need to see them unless Harry and Meghan want us to see them. That it almost feels like Lily's like 10 or something because they cannot keep quiet about the Sussex kids. There have been a few candid shots of them here and there, but otherwise we don't really see them, and that's how Harry and Meghan want it, so that's just how it's going to be. And the British tabloids can cry, cry, cry about it. Um, you know, I think that these kids should be allowed to be kids, and their parents can share as and when they feel comfortable to. Thank you so much, Anne. Yes, I am feeling better. Hey, this black girl's live. Thank you so much. Yes, do please hit that like button, subscribe button if you haven't already. We are powering towards 40,000 subscribers. And link at the top of the chat if you do want to donate anything. Highly appreciated. There were reports in People that Lily had a big birthday, but I didn't see any pictures, and I mean, I just think it's a non-story. She's, obviously going to have a birthday party, but they'll just report anything for clicks. Right. Next thing, let's go to UK politics for a while and have a hardy ha 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 laugh. Nigel Farage. Nigel Farage, for those of you who don't know, um, or have forgotten, was one of the primary uh, political figures in the UK who pushed for Brexit. He was also the former leader of UKIP, that was the party that really pushed for Brexit. I think he's now part of a party called Reform UK, um, and I think they lean more towards the right. He got milkshaked at I think he was walking out of an event or something. Now, some people have actually theorized, and this would not surprise me if this was actually staged, if he's just trying to make himself look like a victim. They are claiming that 2 people have indeed been arrested. So it may not be staged, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was. If this is not staged, I will also say, as um, tempting as it is to throw a milkshake into the face of someone like Farage, I do not think that this is appropriate, and I do not support this just because I feel like you set a precedent that this is just okay to do it to all politicians, and we have had situations in the past in the UK, quite recently actually, um, where an MP was assassinated. So please take your frustrations to the voting booth or to your local MP and to Parliament. Um, please do not throw milkshake in the faces of politicians, even if it is Nigel Farage. And this guy, let me just say, I don't think he actually cares about working class British people. He has become what I like to call like a celebrity politician. Um, I don't even think this guy really has any real clue about policy and what it actually means to create policy that serves the people. He really just serves himself, gets his paychecks, and just loves being in front of the camera. He's that type of politician. And a lot of the frustration, I think, from people in the United Kingdom right now is the cost of living. Now, I've been traveling for, I went traveling for just over a year and a half, and pretty much every other country that I went to, um, with the exception, with the exception of Singapore, the cost of living was way cheaper. Granted, having the privilege of the British pound, um, that had a little bit more buying power, but just in general, the cost of living was so much cheaper in every other country that I visited, and it has been absolutely shocking to come back and see where we are now. Only just over a year and a half. When I left, like the area where I live, like a double room was maybe £650 for a double room. This is a room in a shared house. Now you're looking at maybe £850. and I can tell the cost of goods has gone up. It's just wild, and so I think a lot is hanging on this UK election because I've seen in such a short amount of time, having gone and come back, um, just how bad things are getting. So please, go out and vote. And I'm not saying that who you vote for is going to fix all the problems, um, but I think it's definitely going to delay things from getting worse. Is all I have to say about that. But hardy ha ha ha, Nigel Farage got a milkshake thrown at him. Oh, and by the way, that's a picture of a restaurant not too far from where I live, and they've actually started encouraging people to buy meals for all the hungry and homeless. So you can buy a meal and they'll put it out on the window. And it's just, I mean, no, kudos to everyone who buys a meal. I did, buy a soup for someone, but we shouldn't have to do this. Everybody should be provided for, and you basically got a situation now where people are working, and still not being able to afford to live. I think that also spills into a lot of the conversations that we have about the royals. For how long can these people sit in their gold gilded castles while the British public suffer? Also, in other political news, Trump Trump was convicted on, was it 34 counts of this was the whole thing to do with Stormy Daniels and hush money. I believe there are other court cases coming for him. Um, and but I believe that this particular case, from what I've read, doesn't necessarily stop him from becoming US president. One of my American squaddies tried to explain to me that there were certain things that were put in the Constitution that the founding fathers obviously never imagined that somebody like Trump would be president. Sadly, I actually don't think that this is going to affect Trump in any way. I think if anything, it will just add fire to his base, because then they can just say, "Oh, it's the establishment," or that's why they voted him in the first place. So I would say to my American friends, please don't become complacent. I don't actually necessarily think this means anything in terms of putting Trump's very loyal base off of Trump or not voting for him. And then Richard Palmer, in response to Trump's conviction, posted on Twitter, "Does the prospect of a convicted criminal becoming the next head of state of the United States show the value of constitutional monarchies, that being a relative amount of stability and continuity to the UK and many other European countries?" And then somebody responded to that by saying, "For 22 years, the House of Windsor was one bad polo accident away from this man becoming heir to the throne." Basically, if anything had happened to Harry um, and William, then we would have had literally Andrew as the heir. So Richard Palmer can just be quiet. The whole idea of the UK having a monarchy somehow saving us from ending up with situations like Trump or dictators or whatever is just ridiculous. It's been debunked so many times. And if having more food banks in the United Kingdom than McDonald's outlets doesn't make you wonder whether, doesn't make you see that having a monarchy doesn't really help, I don't know what will. People like Richard Palmer are completely out of touch. Anyway, that's enough with the political side. Let's get back to our royals, but I didn't want to leave that out because it was the talk of the town and I wasn't around to talk about it. Good news. Suits season 9 is coming in July. Suits has seen a massive revival recently, and in part due to the Meghan effect. That's had a huge part to do with it. Whether or not Meghan will be featured, be left to be seen. And it's just amazing to see a show that had a great run and was very successful when it first came out, but it's just erupted in popularity after coming to Netflix, and they obviously saw the value that Meghan being on the show brought to the show, and decided, yep, let's bring it back. And also the BBC in the UK have also decided to buy the rights to Suits as well for broadcasting. Over in Bulgaria, this was happening. So a friend of mine is currently traveling Bulgaria, and she went to a village, quite a remote village, and this is what she saw. Now, I don't know who the other gentleman is, but I think we can all recognize who that is. That is Diana, given a memorial in a remote village in Bulgaria. That is how iconic Diana as a figure of the British monarchy is. You rarely see, I mean, I've traveled quite a bit, and I think I even saw when I was in Bali, I saw a memorial, like one of these for her. So it just shows you the reach that she had. So I thought that was very interesting. And thank you to my Bulgarian friend for sending that to me. Also, Meghan wrote a very sweet letter to one of the kings that came and saw her and blessed her with their name. She wrote this letter saying, "Your Imperial Majesty, thank you for your warm welcome to Nigeria. I am deeply humbled by your blessing of the traditional Ubora name. I treasure the name and appreciate your trust in me to carry it with grace and dignity. Our visit to Nigeria was important for many reasons, but not least because it gave us an opportunity to explore and understand my heritage, which extends to our children. We look forward to coming back one day soon." Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex. Very, very sweet. Um, and what we've absolutely come to expect from our Duchess. Also, excuse me, yeah, this happened. Well, after the Nigerian trip, this whole thing with the Nigerian First Lady. Now, when this first started being reported, I said that I did not believe that the First Lady had lashed out at Meghan at all. That it was two completely separate statements that got conflated, and some people, because she had made a comment about the way women dress and the way Nigerian women should dress, and she also berated the Met Gala, which I didn't think was a particularly good move. You know, the Met, it's not just this celebrity peacock show that happens. It's quite a big American institution, so I didn't think that was a good idea. But most importantly, just to be clear, while she did make some comments that were slightly shady, those comments were not directed at Meghan. A lot of people thought that it was very hypocritical that she said in part of her statement about the way women dress when her daughter does runway modeling, like you see in the picture. So just that double standard. But just to be clear, once again, those comments were not made towards Meghan. So this was actually in the AFP fact check. It says the First Lady did not comment on the Duchess's attire. Yeah, she didn't comment on the Duchess's attire. She commented on Nigerian women's attire and also the attire at the Met Gala. She meant Meghan appreciates the people we are and hence her coming here, the office said in an email to AFP fact check. At no point did she say anything about Meghan's dressing. Horizon News, whose clip was used in the misleading post, also rejected the claim. The footage shows the First Lady commenting that Meghan came looking for her roots. So, yeah, the comments. So this is also from AFP fact check saying the visit of Prince Harry and his wife Meghan to Nigeria elicited a flurry of media attention. It also sparked disinformation when a YouTuber suggested that a video showed Nigeria's First Lady berating the Duchess of Sussex for dressing indecently during her trip to the West African country. But the claim, which made international headlines, is misleading. The comments were aimed at young Nigerian women in her televised speech. Okay, so I hope that is all cleared up, but these people will make a hoo-hoo-ha out of absolutely nothing. And I don't believe for a second that the First Lady of Nigeria would just randomly lash out at Meghan. Just ridiculous. Also, the British tabloids at it with their lying and paying people off. What's new? So this is a report that came out about a week ago. A claim being made by James Blunt. James Blunt said that the News of the World paid women to sleep with celebrities, and that they had women on the payroll to get stories about people's bedroom performance. Now, we all remember, if we've been around for a while, back when the Daily Fail offered Simon Rex $70,000 to claim that he had slept with Meghan, whom he appeared in the sitcom Cuts with. Their off-screen interactions never got further than one platonic lunch. Rex says that he was broke as F and needed the money, but I would be on food stamps before I do that. And Meghan actually sent him a thank you letter that he has displayed in his house. Um, so, someone, having strength enough not to take money from the tabloids. Also, just the idea. I mean, even if something had happened between them, the idea that a completely consensual interaction would somehow be used or weaponized against Meghan to dirty her name when you have whole pedo uncles who have uh well, we know what Andrew did to Virginia Giuffre and that whole thing with Weinstein, right? So how would Meghan having a consensual relationship with a man be any worse than that? But it just shows you the mindset of these tabloids and the lengths that they will go to ruin someone. So, what did James Blunt actually claim? James Blunt, speaking at the Hay Festival, said that he was asked about discovering emails, which he described in his book, loosely based on a made up story, a non memoir. Two women were on the news of the world's payroll to go out and sleep with celebrities, Blunt wrote in the book. The girls would bring the men back to a studio flat in Notting Hill, which had a fold down bed, and film the encounter and then hand it over to the paper. Now, what does this sound like? Isn't this what a certain Martin Branning was doing? So yeah, that the singer said that he had been shocked to read internal emails from Andy Coulson, so that's one of Murdoch's buddies, the then editor of the News of the World, who later went to jail for phone hacking. Coulson was discussing how best to portray my O and concluded, I think he'd sing it. So this is the I felt so uncomfortable reading that. I think this just shows this is so-called journalism that these tabloid writers were doing at the time, paying women off so they could write about celebrities' private lives in this just degrading manner. And I'm pretty sure paying people to go and sleep with people is in itself illegal. Um, and then filming them without their knowledge also, you got to wonder how many people that they blackmailed. And this is the culture that was created in the tabloids. And speaking of which, I went to the supermarket and I saw this today. This is what is currently on the cover of Closer. Dream baby. This will bring Meghan closer to Harry. Even though Harry and Meghan have said themselves that they're not having any more children. How would they know this? How would they get access to this? They don't. They just make things up. Right, let's go to your comments before we get on to the next thing. Let's have a look. Okay, let's go back. Hey Cinderella, hey Didi, hey Novidi, hey Hello, and hey Carol. By the way, Dorothy Ross, if you're here, thank you so much for your donation from the other day. Much appreciated. Yeah, Black Queen, that's all Nigel Farage got, a milkshake. A milkshake and all the money that he's getting to be a celebrity politician. You can be in jail and still be president. I find that remarkable. So lovely to have you back on the podcast, Adelina. Let's have a look. Oh, Josephine, thank you so much. I'm happy to be back. Lightside, you almost missed. Lightside, I need you to just concentrate on healing your foot. Everybody send prayers to Lightside's foot. You don't need this energy. What you need is a spa day. Some I was gonna say champagne, but I don't think that's gonna help with the dodgy foot. You just need rest. No royal drama. But thank you for being here. Okay, on to the next thing. John Lennon's second son, who I didn't know actually existed, until he decided to put Harry's name in his mouth, or rather on his Twitter feed, um, said that Harry, deserves to be made fun of. He gave his so-called long-awaited review of Harry's biography, Spare. Uh, no one was waiting for your long-awaited review. I didn't even know that John Lennon had this other son. The fact that the media had referred to him as John Lennon's son, who said that Harry is an idiot who deserves to be mocked in an online rant. Harry, one of the few people in his position of power and wealth, who has decided to use that power and wealth to go after Rupert Murdoch and get justice and truth, not just for himself, but for everyone who deserves a fair press. John Lennon's second son, who we don't know what job this guy has, says that Harry deserves to be mocked in an online rant. The only person that deserves to be mocked is you. And how even more nasty that his mother, Yoko Ono, for years was terrorized and torn apart in the press. And even Meghan is sometimes referred to as the royal Yoko Ono. Like, no sense of self-awareness at all. Nepo baby that never made his own. I do not know what this guy does, what his job is, other than being the second son of another famous man. Sir, please sit down. But here's your 15 minutes since you wanted it so bad. Oh, Idolina. Thank you so much. Is my voice soothing? Really? That's nice to know. Should I do some spoken word poetry? I'll start a whole separate channel just for that. Okay, next thing. Apparently, Charles wants Andrew out of his 30-room royal lodge, but Andrew is refusing to budge. This is according to Kate Mansley, by the way. So this is definitely leaked to her by a palace insider. And apparently, he wants to put him in the much smaller Frogmore Cottage, which, mind you, has been decorated and done up very nicely by Harry and Meghan with their money. But Andrew does not want to budge because when Mummy was alive, he was living the high life in his 30-room mansion. And ain't no way this spoilt, grown man child who has teddy bears on his bed still is going to want to sleep in Frogmore Cottage. So you've got to fight on your hand, Charles, because Charles may have stuff on Andrew, but Andrew also has stuff on Charles and other members of the royal family. So I guess he also wants to save some money because if he puts Andrew in there, he'll be spending less money. Kate Mansley also tweeted something very interesting about Charles's security. So she said, during my investigation, I saw the lease which Andrew holds. However, I also found that the king gives Andrew well in excess of 4 million a year to live there in his current mansion, including an estimated 3 million security bill. And he no longer thinks it's appropriate use of his funds. So that's what Kate Mansley said. This is what we actually heard. During my dictation, I was told to tell you Charles gives Andrew well in excess of 4 million a year and 3 million for his security. You are supposed to believe it's from his private funds, which of course puts a lie to the palace-controlled Ravek claim that they are not in the business of allowing the rich to buy armed forces. That exactly. They refuse to give Harry and his family protection because they just don't want to. And as Chris on Twitter said, if Charles is using private funds to buy police protection for Andrew, that means Ravek lied when they said that they can't allow the rich to buy armed police protection. If Ravek wasn't lying then, Charles is lying, and it's taxpayers who are paying for Andrew's security. That exactly. Mind you, I have said from the beginning that all funds should be stripped from the royals with the exception of security, partly because having exposed royals is also a matter of national security. You don't want a member of the royal family to be used as collateral. So it's a protection of both them and for the nation. But that is the only thing that we should fund. So they refused to give Harry the protection that he has asked to, mind you, pay for himself, which I don't think he should have to pay for, because they just don't want to. And I think from the very beginning, when Harry and Meghan were in Canada and Meghan finds out that she's pregnant, I think they were trying to use security as a carrot to dangle in front of Harry's face. But Harry was not going to take the bait. And thank goodness Tyler Perry stepped in. Now, on to this issue of Kate. I said that I wasn't really going to speak about Kate unless there was any kind of significant updates or anything that, you know, came out. But a couple of things have been popping up the last few days. First of all, there have been several articles, and these are not in small-time tabloids. These are in US Weekly. These are in People. These are in Bazaar. This is in Tatler, about Kate being seen in public for the first times since that video where she talked about her preventative cancer treatment. But all of these articles that have been coming out about Kate being spotted, there are no pictures of her. And we're then told that Buckingham Palace has now confirmed that she will not be at the salute of the Colonel's Review and or for Trooping of the Colour. Also, that Charles, who is continuing his treatment, will not ride on the parade this year, but will instead conduct a review of the troops on June 15th from his carriage with Camilla. So that balcony that they keep on going on about is going to be a very interesting looking balcony this year, because Kate won't be there. Charles probably won't be there. Camilla will absolutely make sure she is there, front and center. William for sure. Maybe George. The other two children we have not seen since Christmas. So it's going to be mighty interesting what that balcony is going to look like. And also, people are tired of seeing articles about Kate being seen but no photos, and it verifies that that video at the farm was fake. You've got the Twitter notes here coming for Tatler because they put this article, Princess seen out and about for the first time since she revealed cancer diagnosis, but they haven't actually put a recent picture. And so the community notes have corrected that and said this photograph was taken and published in November 2023. Now, someone made a video, which I'm not going to play. That picture that you can see at the top of Kate with that burgundy jacket and white top, that was an AI video that somebody created of Kate, kind of making a point about the whole situation. The AI Kate says, keep asking questions about where I am. Now, the video, if you actually watch the video, you can tell that it's fake AI. I know that there are programs out there, even free programs that you can use to make even better AI. But it's still pretty impressive, and I think maybe somebody who doesn't recognize AI or doesn't have a good eye might actually think that that video was real and that it was actually Kate asking for help. But it just shows, and I think that the point the person was trying to make by making this video was how easy it is to create an AI video, because if you didn't know the context behind that picture, you might even think that is real Kate right there, but that's not a real image and it was not a real video. So it's interesting that on one hand we're getting told that Kate, she's not going to be able to return to royal duties, but apparently other reports are saying she's out and about, and not a single soul, as Henry VIII has made a good point here, has managed to get a blurry video photo, absolutely nothing. It's getting weird. And then we see the LA Times, by the way, is saying another Kate Middleton sighting, unedited pictures, or it didn't happen. Exactly. And the US Weekly and some of the other US tabloids have finally turned. This was coming, but here we are. And don't forget, ABC actually threw away the Andrew story because they didn't want to anger the palace, and that they said that they would cut off access to William and Kate. So now I think the American tabloids are like, oh, there's a story here. So you've got the New York Post saying Kate Middleton may never come back to previous role, and US Weekly also reporting that she may never come back. And Henry VIII, who has just been on fire, make sure you go and follow her on Twitter. She tweeted on the 26th of the 1st, so the beginning of this year, I think they are slowly preparing the public that Kate isn't coming back to even part-time royal work. And she was right. So let's have a look at this article from US Weekly. So they're saying that this is actually from a source, a palace source, or a close source rather, that she may never come back. So it's, give me a sec, folks. So this so-called source is saying Kate's recovery is going well. She's not able to see many people because she's susceptible to getting sick, and they don't want her compromised, but she's up and about. Now, the Spanish press are actually reporting something completely different. This is Concha Caleja. This is the Spanish lady, the journalist who first broke the story about Kate being in a coma. And she has stuck to that story and doubled down and tripled down. She is now saying that Kate's going to be having another surgery this year. This is her claim. But this report in US Weekly is saying that Kate is fine. And that she may not return, although she may not return to or resume royal work until the fall or even next year. And let me just reiterate that it's sad that it was not afforded to Meghan, because it should be afforded to everyone. But Kate is entitled to her privacy. But you don't get to treat one duchess one way and then demand privacy for another one. And it's not even about, what Kate is ill with or anything like that. I'm really not concerned about that. I don't consider that my business. It's just the rollout and the level of deception that has been coming from the palace. That's the issue here. I'm not really concerned about diving into the business of someone's illness. And the fact that this institution has just proven themselves to be so unreliable when it comes to truth and transparency. And if you've been following the story from the very beginning, just so many strange things seem to have happened. The fact that William only visited her once in the hospital, whereas Camilla went to the hospital 3 times, and in none of those occasions were there any reports about Camilla, seeing Kate. We didn't see Kate come out, presuming that she was in that hospital, but we saw, Camilla and Charles come out. There's just so many strange things. And then the fake Photoshop picture. I mean, why all of this? If the woman is ill, she's ill. It feels like a cover-up. And this, us telling us that she's not going to be back anytime soon, feels like some kind of rollout. Like they're trying to say something. Also, okay, so that's pretty much all I'm going to say about Kate. Other thing that I wanted to mention, yes, the royal family removes Harry's 2016 statement about the ERASES and ERASES comments towards Meghan. When you think that they cannot stoop any lower, why would they remove this? Mind you, this letter was then. Actually, I don't know if this was before or after this letter, but in addition to this letter, I'll say you had 72 female MPs sign a letter defending Meghan, and then after Meghan was bullied, and had all sorts of nasty things said about her by Jeremy Clarkson in that Sun article the day after he had lunch with Camilla, more MPs, male and female, Labour and Conservative, signed another letter. So they can try and erase Harry's letter. They cannot erase 2 lots of letters from multiple MPs across the political spectrum in the United Kingdom signing letters to defend Meghan. They can't erase that. And with that, I will end the podcast. Thank you so much. As always, I really appreciate that I was able to actually have a break and just focus on the book. I can't wait to share that with you. I think you're really, really gonna like it, especially if you've been in this space. And it's not really about the royals. It's not really about Meghan, but it's like life lessons inspired by her. So I hope that will resonate with you and inspire you when that does come out. It's not going to be a long book, by the way. It's going to be like one of those pocket books that you can just throw in your handbag. But I'm so excited to finally be buckling down and actually getting this book done. Joyce, did you know that Clever Blends in the UK is oh really? Amazing. I actually have an organic store near me. I might encourage her to order some. Let's have a look. Adelina, you said Getty Image in any reliable source has not commented on the royal family because they don't trust them. Yes. And who was it? Was it Associated Press or one of these big agencies? I don't want to quote the wrong one, sorry, but one of them was like, they no longer consider Kensington Palace a reliable source. Yeah, I mean the truth's going to come out one way or the other. And ultimately, this is more to do with the actions of the institution and the way they, treat people, treat women in these institutions, and just the way it's run. That's what really needs to be dug into. It's not necessarily about, Kate's illness. Oh gosh, there was actually something really important I needed to say, and it's now gone out of my head. Okay, never mind. If it comes back to me, I'll say it in tomorrow's podcast. Yeah, exactly. Drip, 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 Wendy. Yeah, so many inconsistencies. And it's just because you know what this institution is like. All right, with that, I'm going to end the podcast. We can all go over to Barron's. Thank you so much, everyone. Really do appreciate you all, and I will see you tomorrow. Ciao.
You better turn up. You better be there when I shake. Watch me rocking if I can't stop. If I should fall, just go ahead. Go and catch me, baby. Ooh, I live it. That's my true to love. Ooh, I love it. Crank it up, yeah. Turn it up on a higher level. Turn it up, we got this.
Break it down like this.
You better grab that tambourine.